Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with Iowa Gun Owners. If you're a gun owner in House District 42, which is the west and south portions of Ankeny, loosely defined, take a moment to watch this video as we break down Representative Heather Matson's view on your gun rights versus her challenger, Heather Stevenson. Guys, this area has become a really important part of the fight for gun rights for two big reasons. Number one, Ankeny is the swing district right now in the entire state of Iowa. Heather Matson, for example, won this district in 2018. She lost in 2020. She won it back in 2022, and we'll see. She might lose it again in 2024. But what happens in Ankeny serves as a bellwether when it comes to the fight for gun rights here in Des Moines. But it's important for a second reason as well. We've had gun grabbers in Iowa for a very, very long time. For the most part, though, lawmakers in vulnerable swing districts keep their mouths shut about their true gun control agenda. They leave that to people in the Quad Cities or portions of Waterloo or Iowa City, but they don't personally advertise how extreme they are when it comes to gun control. That's not the case with Heather Matson. She is, as you're about to find out, perhaps the most extreme lawmaker that we've ever seen here in Des Moines. And so this is a chance for gun owners to send a message and remind anti-gun lawmakers here in Iowa that gun voters are organized and will hold them accountable at election time. We're going to begin with Heather Matson. Now guys, I'm going to give you later a list of pro-gun bills that she's voted no on. No big surprise there. But I'm going to begin with her offensive agenda. You see, Heather Matson truly hates gun owners, and she wants to crush and overturn much of our freedoms here in Iowa. To begin with, she wants to repeal Iowa's constitutional carry law. You guys know this. We passed this law in 2021. It makes the carry permit optional. Heather Matson hates that because she and every other little pink-haired commie in Iowa and across the country, they want a list of every gun owner in a federal database. That's why, in part, we passed constitutional carry in the first place, was to stay out of those databases. Heather Matson wants to repeal that. She also then wants to immediately ram a red flag gun seizure ordinance into law here in Des Moines. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a red flag law allows your neighbors or an angry ex-spouse, or it could be a vengeful coworker, to call you in, say you could be dangerous, and then the cops then go before the judge, and they say this guy or gal could be dangerous, and the judge will issue, and they almost always issue these seizure orders. And the first thing you ever hear about it is when the cops come to your home to grab your firearms. You're not aware of it. You have no chance to be in court to defend yourself. And even if you were, all of this happens before you've been charged, let alone convicted of a crime. It shreds your due process rights. You're guilty until you prove your innocence sometime down the road. And that's Heather Matson's dream for Iowa. She also wants a complete registry of every gun owner in the state. Universal background checks create these registries that, again, feed the Joe Biden or, God forbid, Kamala Harris federal database. She wants a magazine ban. So for all the gun owners out there who carry a Glock 9, holds 15 rounds, you'd be a criminal in Heather Matson's eyes. The same for anybody anywhere in the state who has a mag that holds over 10 rounds capacity. It is the entire gun control agenda that, frankly, is the law right now in blue states. This is all the law, for example, in Illinois, but that's a blue state. They don't care about freedom in Springfield. We care about freedom here in Des Moines and here in Iowa. Heather Matson wants to undo every bit of that. So no big surprise, she was a no vote on every pro-gun bill she's had a chance to vote on. Teacher carry, she opposed that. Parking lot carry on school property, she opposed that. And I want to say she was a no vote on the preemption reform law we passed, HF 2502 as well. Every pro-gun bill she's a no vote on. Every gun control bill she can think of, she's publicly championing all of this on her website today. Now, some of you people watching, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom and you're not very conservative, but you're not very liberal. Maybe you're asking yourself, I don't care about this, or why should I care about this? Well, I'll tell you why. This agenda right here, repealing constitutional carry, gun registration, magazine bans, red flag gun seizure laws, this has created what is happening today in Illinois. When you take away good people's right to keep and bear arms, when you restrict the firearms you can have for self-defense, it only empowers lawless, violent predators who prey on innocent people. So if you're not a big gun person, just don't forget, this has a major impact on our quality of life right here in Ankeny, separate from the esoteric discussion about the Second Amendment. That's Heather Matson. Now, Heather Stevenson is pretty much the exact opposite. Heather Stevenson has surveyed 100% pro-gun with Iowa gun owners. And what that means is that her views on your gun rights are in writing. She's not trying to hide anything. In that way, the two Heathers have this in common. Heather Stevenson supports the Second Amendment Preservation Act. We call it SAPA law for short. In fact, she'll sponsor the bill. SAPA is absolutely vital here in Iowa because, while we have good gun laws today, thanks to the members of Iowa gun owners, Joe Biden's trying to use, and God knows Kamala Harris would try to use, our cops to enforce federal gun control laws. SAPA stops all of that. Heather Stevenson agrees with that. She would sponsor the bill. She also agrees that Iowa must enhance our Stand Your Ground law. Now, we passed Stand Your Ground law in 2017. That's what Heather Matson wants to repeal. It's also on her list. And what Stand Your Ground law does is removes the requirement to retreat before using justifiable defensive force. And that was a good law at the time it was passed. But we're changing now to the new environment. And we have Soros-backed prosecutors, for example, across the country and right in Polk County, who would love to prosecute gun owners even though they use justifiable force. The problem with Iowa's current Stand Your Ground law is that the presumption is that you're guilty. So if you draw, let alone use, your firearm in a self-defense situation, in the eyes of the law, you're guilty and you have to prove your innocence. But in many other states, dozens of other states, you are, in the eyes of the law, presumed innocent, and the government has to prove your guilt. And that small distinction is massive when you're the guy or the gal on the hook for a bogus criminal charge after some violent thug tried to attack you or your family in some dark parking lot. So we must enhance Stand Your Ground law. Stevenson agrees. That's an excellent thing. And on everything else, she wants to defend constitutional carry, defend Stand Your Ground law. She is a hell no on red flag gun seizures, a hell no on magazine ban requirements. Every gun control question we asked, she nailed it. 100% pro-gun. That is Heather Stevenson, a two-way fighter. So guys, if you see Heather Stevenson, thank her for her pro-gun response to our candidate survey, for promising to be a leader in the fight for gun rights, and for not being a crazy commie who wants to disarm all of us. And if you see Representative Matson, I'd be sure to hold her accountable. Tell her that her votes against your gun rights have not gone unnoticed, and her goal of passing extreme Illinois or California-style gun control here in Iowa does not work for you. Guys, make sure she hears from you between now and Election Day. And don't forget, November 5 is Election Day, but October 16 is the early vote start date here in Iowa. So guys, get the information in this video out to your friends, educate gun voters, and get out there and vote pro-gun on Tuesday, November 5, or early voting which begins on October 16. Guys, take care.